Hi, I'm Janet Lunn, and I'm talking to you about, and I'm going to read to you from a book called Amos's Sweater. I want to tell you, first of all, why I wrote this book, because I think it's kind of fun to know about this. I wrote this book after a visit I had with my friend Peg on a farm in Vermont. And Peg and her husband were raising sheep. And the sheep that Peg raised all had names, and she loved them dearly. And she clipped their wool always, and she made things out of it, sweaters and scarves and mittens and hats and socks. But not only did she clip the wool, she washed it and she spun it herself and then made all these wonderful things out of it. And when I was visiting her this one particular time, I asked her if she'd show me how to spin, because it looked like fun. Well, it was fun for my friend Peggy because she's so good at it. But when I tried to spin, instead of getting a nice, long, even length of wool, mine got lumpy and then it broke, and I just couldn't get the hang of it, and I gave it up. And I said, well, I don't think I'm going to learn to spin, but what I really like is if you would make me a shawl from the wool of one of your sheep. And Peg said, I'd love to do that. Would you like to meet the sheep? And I thought about that, and I thought that would be fun. So I said, I would love to meet the sheep. So this was in the fall. We put our jackets on. Peggy put an apple in each pocket of her jacket, and we went out to the barn. And Peggy just loved her sheep. They all had names, and she called them, sweetheart and darling. And she called, Amos, come here, my precious, my dearest. And this angry-looking old sheep came stomping up to the front of the barn, and Peggy by this time had an apple in her hand, and he grabbed the apple, and he turned as though he were going to walk away right away from her, and she put her hand on his back, and she said, Amos, I want you to meet my friend Janet. Janet, she looked at me like this. I'd like you to meet my sheep and my friend Amos. I felt a little bit silly, but I said, hi, Amos. And Amos just glared at me, and then he did what sheep do when they get angry. He stamped his foot. Then he grabbed the other apple with his teeth out of Peggy's other hand. She had it in her hand by this time. And he turned around, and I watched his rear end go back to the back of the barn. And he was so funny, I really laughed. And I said to Peggy, I would love to have Amos's wool for my shawl. And she said, okay. Well, we had our visit, and I went back home. And about 6 months later, a package came in the mail to me, and there was my shawl. And in the house I lived in at that time, there was a big fireplace in the kitchen. I sat down with my cup of tea by the fire and opened the package, and it was so nice, this shawl. And then I got thinking about Amos the sheep, and how angry and old he was. And I got wondering what he felt about giving away all his wool for my shawl. And so I wrote this story called Amos's Sweater.